I'm back again, walking around an old homestead that's here. You can see it back there. And seeing if I could find some dumps. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, we have one big major problem when it comes to finding artifacts, and that is that the timber companies take over the land and they don't care what's in their way. They just devastate everything, and this is what they do. And as you can see, they're chopping down, pushing over this old barn with everything in it, and they're just, doing their thing, which for me is bad news. So let me look around, see what if I can salvage anything around here. But if not, I'll get back to you with something else that may or may not work out. So, as I'm saying, this is the situation as we know it right now. Well, I found an old homestead here, and I found their dump. So the buildings are over there somewhere. They're all pretty much in bad shape, but the garbage dump is here. So let me check out to see what's down here, and I'll get back to you if I find something cool. Okay, let's start. Well, just dug this guy out. He's a grape juice company. And Grapette, the clown. I've got some other Grapettes. I don't know. I got an elephant, I think, but he was just laying on the top. So far, one collectible, if you want to call it that. And we got a little bit more to go. There's a lot of trash out here, so let me keep going and see what else I find. The clown, the Grapette clown. Well, this just popped out. A soda water bottle. It says soda water on it. And it's from Estelle, which is something I don't have. So we're pretty far from Estelle still, but we're getting closer to what I'm looking for. So now we got an Estelle soda. Okay, good find. Well, and now wouldn't be complete without finding a Phillips genuine milk of magnesia, and that was right there. Seems like there's a few concentrations of older stuff right here. Plates. A lot of metal. He was right in there. Let's see what else is over in this side. A lot of bricks. Wherever you see bricks, you know you're in old stuff. There's a prescription bottle. There's some stuff over here. I just want to check this out. You're in South Carolina, so finding whiskey bottles, well, that's not going to be hard to do. Here's a lot more stuff here. It's all along down here. Jars. Mason jar. Big mason from the 40s. So let me keep going. See what else I find. Well, I'm scraping around with my probe and coming up with quite a bit of stuff, but you can see there's something right there. You can see with them, but it's a stone, and I bet, yep, there's hundreds of these baby jars, baby food jars. They're all over the place. Whiskeys, bricks, of course. Got a little. That's a little kind of a. Got these old medicines, but they're from the 40s and they don't have anything on them. So I'm still digging around in this area. If I come up with something, I'm going to show you. There's a whole bunch to look for here, so yeah, I need time. I found a few broken Cokes, another soda water broken, you know, those type of things always ends up broken. The baby jars, well, hell with that. I'll see you later. Back during the Depression, Virginia Dare, the Garrett Wine Company, made flavorings, and this is one of them. This is what they look like. And you were able to make stuff with them. Soda, pop, what I don't know, wine. But this is a Virginia Dare from the 1930s. Well, my first Coke of the day. This here looks like it's a Brunswick Pat D, way up here in South Carolina. So we come up with a Pat D Coke. I don't know what the date on it is. Trying to see if there is one here. Getting pretty hot. I'm getting pretty worn out from all this. I don't see the date now, but probably on the cleanup I'll show you. But yeah, Brunswick, Georgia. So that's that. Let me keep going and see what else I can find. First artifact, well, two. This heavy piece of metal and an old iron. That iron weighs a ton. So there's the artifact for you. A little bit more, then I guess I'll be off. Well, there's a whole other section of stuff that I can probe out. It's all through here, but the mosquitoes are eating me alive. For some reason, it just got too hot for me. So I'm heading on out. They're just all over me. So I'm going to end with the war grade Phillips milk of magnesia. And I'll see you at a roundup. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Okay. It's going to be a little review of what I dug up yesterday on my adventure out in the hinterlands of South Carolina. I went to two places. The one place didn't pan out because, well, if you see the video, you realize that there was nothing to see there. In the southern states, Georgia, South Carolina, lumber industry is really big, and they do a big job of supplying lumber and paper for a lot of the country. So they need a lot of land and they need a lot of trees. Unfortunately, with that, they also take away a lot of history. A lot of the old homestead that were out in the woods back in the day, well, those woods were bought up by the timber industry, and when they buy that area, they clear it. And when they clear it, I mean clear it to the bare ground. So houses, artifacts, wherever there's there is gone. And you find that out pretty quickly if you go out looking for anything that once was there. You're not going to find it. So I had a hard time at the first place. But the second place was spared, thank goodness. Still probably owned by the original people, the property anyway, and so the lumber company just, you know, work around it. And there I was able to find some artifacts. So let's get to them now. Of course, we have our war grade milk of magnesia. I call this a war grade because see how minimal yeah, minimalist it is. It doesn't have a lot of uh, information on it. There's no uh, place where it was the company. It just says Phillips milk of magnesia, genuine Phillips milk of magnesia. It's a very cornflower color. Most of the Phillips are this color. Um, During the war, cobalt was at a premium, so the glass companies had to use other means to get their blue, and so it ended up not being as bright. After the war, the color came back, but the embossing disappeared. But this was around 1940s. This Philip milk of magnesia was, bottled. We have the Cokes. This one here is a Brunswick D-Pat, and it's a 1940, looks like a 1948 late one, light green, and it's from Brunswick, Georgia, far away from where it was originally bottled. But you're common. This one here is a bottle that is not easy to find in one piece. These soda water bottles usually were produced by the Root Glass Company, and Root really didn't make a great glass batch. Many of their bottles are easily cracked, easily broken, chipped. That's why you see a lot of soda water bottles and Coca-Cola bottles, by the way, broken and cracked. Usually the tops are off, just because the annealing, I think, was they were produced so quickly and so fast. The annealing was done poorly, so they don't last long. But this one was laying on the ground in the woods. Those homesteads were back there since 1920, so there's potential to find older stuff back there, and I was able to find this one. And this one is from Estelle, South Carolina, and I was pretty far away from there. Estelle is still another 12, 14 miles away from where this bottle was found, so it traveled quite a while. Another one I picked this one up because, it was an ACL, and I didn't know what it was. Posner's genuine bergamot hair conditioner, and I looked it up, and Posner's was a company developed back in the 1940s. It was a black-owned company, and this is a pomade. This actually was a hair straightener, and so which tells me that the people who lived in this homestead were African American, and it does make sense. The church across the street from where these houses once stood, well, this house, one of them still stands, rebuilt in the late 1950s style. But getting back to the occupants, this tells me that they were African American descent, and that they use this product. And this is a 50s version. The other versions were paper labeled, or they were a banner. And yeah, that's very plain jar, but it gives you all the information. And there's more history to this. I just can't find it because it's still around. You can still get Posner's hair relaxer and hair and skin conditioner and all that kind of stuff. So there you have Posner's 1950s. This bottle here is a Garrett wine, and this is a flavoring extract. Garrett wine, of course, we know Virginia Dare, and that's what that's their logo here. Was a wine that was been around since 1835, and I think it was somewhere in North Carolina or North Carolina, yeah, the Wilmington area or somewhere there. I can't remember the town, um, but Paul Garrett is the man who responsible for bringing Garrett wines into the 21st century, well, 20th century anyway. I don't know if they're still around. They might be under another name. Who knows? But he was the son of the original proprietor. His dad and his uncle started Virginia Dare, and Paul, he went on to develop the company, which withstood the, like I think I went through this before, prohibition by selling extracts. And this is an extract bottle, 1930. This here is a Vicks, and I couldn't find the information on this particular variant, but I think it was an inhaler. It had, this is not the right cap for it, it had a dropper, and you would take that dropper and stick it up your nose, I guess. And Vicks is another big company from North Carolina, Selma, North Carolina, and the man who was responsible for the Vicks company was a guy called Leonard Richardson, and he started it way back in 1891. So it goes back a ways. So that's my little Vicks. And this, last but not least, is the strange but very historic Great Bet Bank bottle, which there was a flavoring extract came in this. You would use this stuff to make soda at home, or make it a drink at home, like I guess like Kool-Aid. There's more to this Great Bet than meets the eye. Great Bet is a company that started way back in 1939 by a guy by the name of Fuchs. He was a traveling salesman, and he sold Fuchs flavorings door to door. It was so popular that people encouraged him to bottle it as a soda, and after trial and error, he came up with superior grape flavor, which proved to be very, very successful. And he was a big name all through the 1940s during the war. He survived a sugar ration by making syrup and then infusing it in his soda. And believe it or not, Great Bet is still around. Now, it went through a lot of hands. Fuchs teamed up with a guy called Paul May, who took it down to South America, and the branch was called Great Bet International, and he is really the savior. Fuchs sold this company to, in 1960s, he sold it to the Rheingold Corporation, Beverage Corporation, who in turn was taken over by PepsiCo. PepsiCo already had a grape soda, new grape, so they got rid of it and sold it to Monarch Foods, who ended up just shelving and retiring it and didn't do a doggone thing for years. When a guy called Leonard Rice, the son-in-law of May, Paul May, who had taken over International, when he decided to come back to the United States, he went to Monarch and asked them if they'd sell him the Great Bet branch, and they refused. They don't, for some reason, they just didn't want to get rid of it. But they weren't doing anything with it in the first place. But, being selfish corporation, they just wanted to sit it on the shelf. Now, Rice wanted to get back into the American market. He was doing well internationally. He's overseas, South America, but he wanted to get into that American dollar market. So years ago, he had bought some stock from a little-known company called Walmart. And so he went to good old Sam Walton and said, "Hey, listen, I got a deal for you. I will give you the great bet, or, I will give you what we have, and but you can't sell it under Great Bet. You got to sell it under your own brand." Well, Walton didn't like that idea because he knew Great Bet was well known, and he could make more money if he had that logo. But of course, again, Monarch wouldn't sell out. Well, they tried different names, and it wasn't flying. The soda wasn't doing too great. So, well, I guess a little pressure from Walmart, Monarch finally decided to sell in 2000. And not only that, but they gave Sam Walton and Walmart the original recipe for Great Bet, grape soda, and it became the biggest seller they had. Of all their soft drinks, when Great Bet came back, it came back in a big way. So you can originally get the original Great Bet in Walmart. So there's a story of this little clown bank. And there's also an elephant and a cat. So if you find those, you got the big three. So there's the story of Great Bet, and that's the end of my rant about what I dug yesterday. Hopefully I can get out next week. If I can, I will hopefully find some more fun stories to tell you. But in the meantime, enjoy your day, and hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification, and you will always be reminded that I went out and did my thing again. So have a great day, everybody, and see you soon. Bye.